My name is Lee Fulton. I'm a senior, 21-year-old Texas Tech student, and this is my first vlog. When I see all your beauty, I can't help but sing my Lord and give you praise. When I have faith, right through me. You take my hand and walk me down the path of grace. What's up, guys? I'm in a different spot right now. As you can see, I'm not in my creative room. I'm actually by my bedside. I know it's a little personal, but it's gonna fit this video. Let me explain. So for the last couple of years, hold on, I'm adjusting. I'm on my knees right now. This is where I pray every morning and night. For the last couple years, I've been logging my life. So what I mean by that is every day I would document a cool moment that happened in my day or a prayer answered. I would log everything I ate, drank, money I spent, and exercises that I did. And I would check off every single habit that I was tracking. This was inspired by two books, The Compound Effect and The Slight Edge. Those books encouraged you to log everything in your life. They were self-help books. I was really big on self-help and improving myself, and to be frank, I still am. I'm always trying to improve myself, and so this was a phase of mine where I logged everything. Finally, God revealed to me that I didn't have to log all of those things anymore. And each night that I felt Him compelling me to stop, I videoed it because it was such a big habit in itself that I was keeping up with. And so first, I'm going to cut to a clip of the very last night that I made a habit chart. Thank you for throwing it back to me presently. This is my very last habit chart documentation. On my habit chart, I have all these different habits that I've been keeping up with for, I think, over a year now. And it's really helped me to be disciplined, but I just hear God telling me that I can stop doing this now. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop being habitual. It's been really good for me. Back to you presently. So the Compound Effect book describes it as your weekly rhythm register and explains that when you track all of your habits, it will help you keep up with them. Because imagine, you want to work out, but when you don't work out, you just don't work out. But with a weekly rhythm register, at the end of the day, if you didn't work out, you don't get to check that box. So it's kind of like tracking and getting to see how often you do it. So here's the next thing, was my cool moments or prayers answered. And these, I can go back and look to any day and see what a cool moment was that day. So here's me doing this log for the last time. I passed up a year of doing this practically every day about 2 weeks ago, because now it's May 8th. And so I was like, man, I've kept this routine up. And I was asking God, like, how long should I do this before? Because He inspired me to do it. And I closed my eyes and I said, should I stop doing this now? And I just saw yes. That's how God's been speaking to me recently. It's just with big, like, words or numbers, just clearly my mind. And I'll close my eyes and I'll wait for it to change to no or to go back and forth, but it just stayed yes. And so, I think this is the fruit of being disciplined, thanks to God. The fact that I did this every day, and so now I can look back at this with Heather, just pick a day and see what I was grateful for that day. And Heather writes down 3 things she's thankful for every morning, and maybe I'll start doing that. But I think just practicing being disciplined is a really valuable tool. Not only does it motivate me to want to continue being disciplined, but I think it definitely put me in a good headspace every night when I got to write down one cool thing that happened every single day. And tomorrow we're going to Paladero Canyon. And Heather randomly saw her name on February 1st as I was looking through this. And it was a memory from the last time we went to Paladero Canyon, where I wrote, seeing Heather try on the log, where she tried to cross this log. So just beautiful coincidences happen when I log my life. And they're not coincidences at all. It's the way God speaks to me. And I believe it's a form of prophecy, a form of a spiritual gift that God's given me. All right, so the very last thing that I stopped was my logs of exercise, how much money I spent, and food I ate. Oh, hey there. Didn't see you there. I'm actually finishing my very last daily log. On this last day, May 18th, 2020, I ran 3 miles in approximately 30 minutes, ate a lettuce, tomato, cheese, bread, mayo, turkey, avocado sandwich with chips and salsa, had 2 gummies, 3 Snicker bars, mini ones, and a milk, an apple, $16 in tips, and then later had a free Philly cheesesteak with sour cream chips and 2 waters. And so every day in this journal since September 20th of 2019, which I've actually been continuing this habit since like December of probably 2017, I've kept this up. And part of my philosophy is just stick to the plan, and I knew I was going to keep doing it. I have it tattooed on my arm, and my mom actually got me this notebook which says Lee F. sticking to the plan on it. And I heard God say, when this book is done, you don't have to do this anymore. So this concludes my daily log, my habit chart, and my cool moments log, which I used to do every single night, and now the Lord is just trusting me to just pray to Him instead of logging all these habits. So I'll send it back to Lee in the Creative Room studio to close it out and to reflect on what it was like doing this and what it'll look like moving forward. See you there. Thank you, Past Lee. The crazy thing about doing these logs is that I hardly ever went back and looked in the past. Almost never. Maybe a handful of times I would go back to see something. So I think really the process of doing it was a form of accountability. And, I could say, okay, if I'm going to have a piece of chocolate, let me go write it down. So it would make me be very intentional about everything that I was doing. And I think today I am much more disciplined because of it. These days I should say, I work out every week. I practice guitar every week. I make videos every week. I make songs very often. I'm very productive. And if anything, I think now I'm in a season where God's saying, okay, Lee, now it's time to learn how to relax a little bit more. Maybe we don't have to sit down with all these big binders and notebooks before you go to sleep to be productive. And ultimately, I can see a little bit of fear that I had to try and control my life to make sure I was doing everything right. I would even with Heather, my wife, write down, okay, which love language did I display today? And I think it also came from a little bit of fear that, if I didn't write it down that I wouldn't do it. And now God's revealing to me that, no, these habits are pretty concrete in me, so I don't need to. So I would recommend that somebody try this, especially if they're having a really hard time getting disciplined in something. Tracking is a great resource to use if you want to get into that. For me though, I think it's good that I'm done. It's good to know that before I sleep, I just pray and read. I don't have to log everything. But then again, here I am on a weekly basis logging my life. So perhaps it's just kind of manifested itself in a new way. And I think I always love creating and writing and being a part of the process of putting pen to paper, and I'll never stop that. And in the future, I'll share my God log, which is where I just keep this open communication with God through my writings. One thing I didn't mention is that I think it did help me wind down at night. I used to smoke copious amounts of marijuana before I went to sleep. And I realized today that that was me self-medicating because I do have a powerful brain that is always working if I don't put steps into calming myself down. And I think that by tracking all these different things, it was very routine for me every single night, and helped me do that as well. But God's encouraging me today to relax and find peace in Him. So in my personal prayer at night and in my reading. One other thing I didn't share was that I used to also take a moral inventory of myself every single night, where I would check where I was selfish, dishonest, resentful, fearful. I wrote down how I was helpful to others. I wrote down what I could do better. So that was the fourth thing that I tracked every single night, which I have since stopped, which for me personally helps me be a little more graceful on myself. I think I will always make mistakes, but I think today, for me, tracking every single time isn't as beneficial. For now, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed seeing the way that I've tracked my life. I hope you don't think I'm too crazy. So I'll see y'all in the next video. Share this with your friends if you liked it. If you're reading The Compound Effect or The Slight Edge, let me know what you think of it. It definitely changed my life, and I will always be thoughtful of my habits and intentional with them as well. See you guys.